Make sure I got some sound. What's up, guys? Come on in. Come on in, guys. What's up? What's up? I know it's been a while. I am here today. I am here so we can get our conversation on about in this season of what it is that you're supposed to be doing in this season. So, yes, come on. Yep, operating in our purpose. That's what we've been talking about in this season. You know, waking up, doing your awakening, and starting to operate in your purpose. So I was out for a whole week, and I wasn't doing anything for that week for pertaining the lives and making videos. But what I was doing is I was studying. God had me studying. I was studying. I was researching, and He was bringing more things to me, and has shifted the platform a whole different direction from when I wanted it. So as we talk about our purpose and our passion and growth, right? So in your season, when you start operating in your purpose, what happens is growth happens. Growth happens, and then you find yourself doing total, not opposite, but doing something that it branches off from what you started with, but it wasn't what you quite had in mind. And the reason why is because it's not your vision. It's not your plan. It's God's plan. So what we envision how things are going to be, hey, it's perfect. We already know. We already know how much money we're going to make. We already know what we're going to be doing. We already know, what our audience is going to be like, what we're going to wear, this, all, that, and the third. But what messes it all up is when you start doing all that, and then you're not even operating in that. Meaning you prepared yourself for this thing that your mind thought you was going to be doing. And God said, scratch that. You about to be doing this. And then it's like, well, what do I do? And that's the moment when you have to realize that, hey, you are in control. You have to be in alignment. And when you're in alignment, that means you're allowing God to just use you as a vessel, and you do what He tells you to do, right? So once you let go of control, all those millions and all this, whatever your heart desire, the things that you want, it will come to you. It's just going to come to you because you're not worrying about that. You're operating your purpose. You're only going to get everything that your heart desire when you operate in your purpose. So a lot of you guys that's getting all these blessings, and you just like, God, just keep on blessing me. And it's not, and you say, well, because I do a good deed and I do right by people. Well, a lot of it is because you're in alignment. You was at the right place where He told you to be at the right time. You were in alignment. You see what I'm saying? So being in alignment doesn't just mean that, hey, you're answering the call and you're operating your purpose. Being in alignment means that you're doing what He told you to do. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get set up here. So with that being said, okay, what is it that your heart desire? You want a business, and you're being pulled to open this business. Now, I'm going to use me as an example. So I was told to open a business. God, like, hey, you're going to open this business. You're going to do this. You're going to open this business. I'm like, all right, cool. I got the business. I already know what I'm going to do. Physical fitness, that's my thing. So why wouldn't I open a business for physical fitness? That's my thing. Like, that's my forte. I mean, this is what I am. I'm a personal trainer. So, yeah, it only makes sense, right? So I did that. But however, I have not been doing personal training. I've been doing more life coaching because that's where he wanted to pull me. And the whole purpose was to get me started, to get me comfortable being able to get on live and do the different things and talk to people and put information out, being comfortable in the knowledge that I have. So now he got me, he said, okay, he had me start doing a little bit of, do some motivational speeches, here and there, little quotes, get them through the day, little nudges. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do that. I did that. And I'm like, okay. And I got more comfortable. He said, go ahead, do a podcast. And I'm like, okay, God, you're doing a little bit too much because that ain't me. That's not my thing. I'm a behind the scenes girl. So he said, no. And then my god sister came and was like, hey, Ish, why don't you go ahead and do life coaching? And I'm like, I'm already a life coach. I just wasn't certified. I'm personal training, but I always spoke life into my clients. And then I said, okay, but it was a good thing she told me to do that. She was being obedient. But the thing was, it was things that I was doing that was a no-no. And it caused people to be dependent on something. So going through that life coaching, I learned some things. Even though I've been doing it for years, but I learned some things. So that's why it's so important to make sure you get educated on that. Not to just say I got a certification, but to really understand the physics behind it, right? Anyway, so I said, okay, fine. I did the life coach. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll start life coaching now because now I'm not doing so much personal training. See, I didn't get upset. Thank you for the likes. Thank y'all for the shares and the follows. Keep it going because it's about to get deep now once I get to going. So it wasn't, and I didn't get frustrated when I stopped getting clients. It's not like I wasn't getting clients because I didn't have the time for clients. Like when clients would come, I really didn't have the time. And it's not that God was saying that, hey, I didn't get frustrated and say, this is my job and put off what God told me to do with the life coaching, because to me, that's secondary. The life coaching is secondary because the main thing is my life, is my personal training. So I didn't get upset when my time was filled. I'm like, okay, God, where you got me going with this? I start getting into alignment, trusting what direction he had me go. So then now I'm life coaching and it's like, okay, cool. I'm life coaching now. He's like, okay, now, but I need you to write this book. I'm like, yo, what, now you're doing too much. But then he reminded me, this is not what I wanted. This is what you said you wanted. See, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to write books. I used to always write a book. I used to always try and write books. So he said, no, whatever your heart desire, I'm going to give you. Everything that you asked for, even when you was a child, everything I asked for just starts showing up. So I'm like, all right, okay, I get where you're going with this. So, okay, I asked for these, you give me what I asked for. I just thought like, hey, I was a kid, I asked for that. That ain't what I really wanted. No, it doesn't matter. When you ask for it, he's going to give it to you. It's only when you get in alignment. See, he can't give you the things of your heart. Because if he give it to you now and you're not in alignment, you're going to abuse it. You're going to mistreat it. You're not going to give him the glory. You're not going to do what you're supposed to be doing with it. So that's why he said, okay, now I'm writing a book and I'm like, okay, now I got clients, want a personal trainer. I'm like, okay, I got a little time for y'all. But guess what? Now he's like, hey, I need you to put these videos out. I need you to do these workout videos. Well, if I do the workout videos, because I got to train too, because I'm the product, right? So I'm like, okay, if I put these videos out, then I ain't going to have time to train. That's not what he needed me to do. What he needed me to do is to listen. And in that time of me listening, what he needed me to understand is all the time that I'm giving to someone, I can be giving to many. Meaning that if I create a workout plan, it can help many. It doesn't have to be entailed with all the videos, because I'm trying to do the video edit, make sure when you click on the video, it'll pop up in the YouTube form and this, that, and the third. What he told me is, no, you just take snapshots of start position, end position, because he got something else for me to do. See, that was just because that's my passion. I didn't know it was my passion. I thought being a personal trainer was my purpose. And this is what I need you to understand. The enemy will have you, not that your passion is from the enemy, but what he'll do is have you focus so hard on that passion, on that one thing that you're good at, and then you miss the whole opportunity to perform in your purpose. So had I would have nudged and pulled away from God and said, no, God, this personal training, this ain't for me. No, that ain't God talking to me now. I wouldn't be who I am today. So moving backwards, let's go back to where we were. So now he said, okay, just go ahead. I need you to do the workout program. And I tested the workout program. I even had some young ladies come and test the workout program. I know it works. I know this. He said, now put it out there. Put it on a PDF. Don't, you ain't got to charge too much. You ain't got to do nothing. I didn't feel the need to do anything. Just put it out there, because the whole thing is I'm going to get what this is my passion. I want to help people. Now you did that. Now get back in alignment. And he pulled me back over here and he said, okay, now what I need you to do is a podcast. Okay, God, you want me to write a book, be a life coach, podcast. But it's all about motivating people how to love themselves. See, I didn't understand what that love yourself meant, right? Because I didn't know that I wasn't loving myself until I went through the awakening process. Now, with the awakening, what happens is you have to go through that dark night of the soul. And what's the dark night of the soul, you ask? The dark night of the soul is when you have to face you. Can you take it? So you can take all this stuff in the street with this person and that person, but can you take you facing you? So now that you're facing you, and I had to look at and understand all that time that I was running from the hurt and the pain. Thank y'all for the likes, shares, and follows. Come on in. All that time I was running from all the hurt and the pain, and I was saying, well, you know, this person hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to worry about it. This person did this to me, but I'm not going to worry about it. You know, it's all good. I don't really care. It's cool. I'm not going to trip about it, right? But what I did was suppress those feelings. So God had to bring it up. He had to bring it back up to me so I can see what those feelings meant. See how it feels. Sit in those feelings because he got a purpose for me. And the reason why he needed me to do that, because I got to have a testimony. Because he's going to bring people to me. And when he bring people to me, see, I was just thinking like here and there, like personal training. People may see me out. We may have a conversation and they realize that, hey, you know what? You're a good person to talk to. Let me schedule a life coaching session with you. No. What he did was like, hey, you're about to go on a whole nother platform, a platform that I wasn't ready for because I'm not a social media girl. I didn't even have a social media account created. So I created a social media account and he had me come on here to teach. And so all of that with the podcast being behind the scenes with just my microphone, no video, I was able to talk confident. Now he needed me to be able to speak a thing. And stand in my power when I'm speaking a thing in front of a camera. Why is that so important? And I'm telling this because I need you guys to understand. I'm using me as an example. My testimony is for somebody that's out there listening. Whether you tapped in and joined the live or not. This is what the testimony is for. It's for you to understand there is a process before everything. Before I shine bright like a diamond, I have to go through a process. I had to go through the process getting out of my comfort zone. Being able to hear his voice. Being able to understand what it is he needed me to do. Knowing that I am good enough. Knowing that I can do this job, knowing the leader that's in me. See, I always knew I was a leader, but I needed to be pulled out of me. I needed to be reassured. And I didn't know I needed to be reassured until I had to go through the dark night of the soul. Once I went through the dark night of the soul, and that's what made me get into meditation. Now, once again, he said, okay, now you're going to teach meditation. I'm like, God, now come on. Meditation is a different type of thing. You have to be fully capable. You have to give all of yourself, meaning disconnecting from the material world. When you disconnect from the material world, meaning worrying about what your job got going on, your baby daddy, your baby mama, all these different things. Where the money gonna come from? Where you gonna eat? Where you gonna do this? Am I gonna make enough for this? Do I look stupid? Do I look this? I had to get away. You have to disconnect from that, and I have to get away from that first before I can teach it to you. Now that's a whole nother thing within itself. Hey, A-Town, I ain't got my glasses on yet, so I ain't read your message, but hey, what's up? Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for coming in. I ask y'all like and share. Come on in. Thank y'all for the follows. Let's go. So I'm just sitting back and I'm like, okay, God, now you want me to do this. So me, before I bring it to anybody else, I'm going to do it myself. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to do it myself. So now I'm sitting in the middle of the floor, tapped in. But what am I tapped into? So guess what I need to do? Go back and train it. So I had to go get certified because I want to make sure that I'm hitting every angle. Because not just meditating, because there's so many different ways you can meditate. Now, people think of meditation, they look at, well, what are you meditating on? Well, what are you thinking about? It's witchcraft. I heard the craziest thing when they said yoga and meditation is part of witchcraft. Well, they would teach you that. They would teach you that and tell you, hey, boo, they would teach you. Of course, the enemy is going to teach you that tapping into yourself is witchcraft. Because how dare you, the enemy, how dare you get to know you? Because if you get to know you, then you get to know the creator, the supreme God, the one that lies within you, that the kingdom is within you. Do you understand? So not these different deities and these ones that they taught you to love, not the creator that, you know, of the material world, not that guy, but how dare you? So of course we're going to say it's witchcraft. How dare you tap in? How dare you tap in and think that you're talking to God within? How would you, yes, that's witchcraft if you go within and talk to God within. Of course they'll tell you that. See, God is within you. So why would you not want to sit with yourself? That's why when you're in quiet time, the enemy shows up. Man, let me tell you something. When you're in quiet time, if the enemy don't show up 100 times, 100 times, times 10, times 100, full throttle, because he's doing his job. He has to stop you from finding your purpose. Where's your purpose? Within you. So what if you decide to really tap in? What if you decide, Coach Nye, come on, I'm going to take one of your meditation classes and I teach you what meditation really is. Because what most people think meditation is, I'm just going to sit crisscross applesauce and I'm just going hum-de-dum, whatever, and just relax. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. No, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. What you're doing is you're recycling your energy. What you're doing is disconnecting from the material world. What you're doing is cutting all these ties off because you can't be anchored when you meditate. I'm not saying that you're just going to start floating up in the air. That's not what I'm saying. Thank you. Listen, I'm going to put my glasses on in just a second to read y'all comments, okay? But listen, thank y'all for the likes, shares, and follows. So when you're meditating, you have to be in a space where you're telling everything and everybody, every piece of energy that's attached to you that you can't dwell here because I'm in my secret place. See, when you meditate, you are hiding from the enemy. You become cloaked, right? You're cloaked. He can't see what you're thinking. He can't see what hear you. He can't do anything. It's no way he can hear you talking to God because you're within. So you got all these people that's running around here. It even talks about that. Don't go running around letting everybody know with your prayers and screaming out and doing all your prayers. You have to go within, because if you go in your secret place, how can you be defeated? If you go in your secret place, how would an enemy know what to bring war to? I'm dropping some stuff for y'all. This is part of your awakening. If you still here, understand me when I say this. Meditation is a place where you speak to God and you talk to him that nobody else can hear you. You don't have to say, God, I don't want nobody else to hear me. This is your secret place. Why do you think that Jesus could have meditated and he didn't have to go to the mountain and meditate? Everybody think that Jesus just focused and came down here just to come down here, save us from our sins, save us from this, save us from dying. It was more to it than that. And I'm going to tell y'all something, as I explain to everybody. Everything that I tell you, go research it. I am not here to change what the Bible say. I am not here to change what your religion say. I am not here to change up anything that you believe in. I'm just here to speak and you research it yourself. That is the reason for the awakening. The reason for the awakening is to spark the divine flame that's in you. You cannot spark that if you attach to, what are we attached to? The material world. If you're attached to that, then you can't. Okay. Wisdom. Okay. Jesus came down here to teach us that. If you go back in the scripture, don't read it like you used to read it. Break down the words. And how I break down the words is I go back into the Hebrew. I break down the numbers because I go back into the Hebrew. See, when stuff gets translated into English, when it goes from Greek to Latin, from Latin to English, do you understand what happened? They find words that sound like or may seem like, and they put it together. But in Hebrew, they could take this word and put it with this, and it means something different. And then put this word here with a number, and then it means something totally different. But what the Bible did in the English has taken it and interpreted the way that it makes sense to us. So go research it on your own. So what I need you to understand, thank y'all for the likes, shares, and gifts. Thank y'all for all that. So what I need you to understand, Jesus came here to awaken, to spark that. That's why every time when he speak in parables. Because can he? Can he? The enemy, it was always, everywhere he went, the enemy was there. Because if that was the case, that if he spoke his parables and he needed everybody to understand what it meant, then he would have opened it up and just said it. It's for you. Everything that mainly he talk about, he always tell you to go within. It's in you. Go within. And if you break it down and read it, I'm telling you now, I'm only telling you how I research stuff. I research stuff. My YouTube is going to be more focused on teaching you the different hidden things that's in the Bible. And we're going to explore that together because it's not for everybody. People are not going to understand it. People are going to say, well, you crazy. People are going to say, wait, that's out there. People are going to say all these things. And that's because they're supposed to. That's their job. That's their job. Jesus did not come here to teach us about no religion. Jesus did not come here to tell us about all these different things. He did not say, hey, look at me. You see who I am and you see who my Father is. And when I die, all this blood, that means that you covered. He came here for a simple fact to show you something. And I don't know if y'all ever heard of it. I'm going to introduce you guys to Sophia of Jesus. Sophia. Look it up. Look it up, research it, and then you come up with your own interpretation of it. But a lot of people feel that it's not a thing, you know, it's not of this. But at the same time, just like some of the books, they call them the lost books. They call them the lost books. The reason why they call them the lost books is because things that's in those lost books, they coincide with what the other one said, but it just gives you too much knowledge. And then you can't take it from English. You can't take it because you have to remember. Those books were translated from Hebrew to Greek to Latin to English. So you have to always take everything back to Hebrew. And you cannot start studying the Gnostics and you don't even know who your God is. You don't even know what to believe in. I got a little off track, so I'm going to get back on focus. I'm going to get back focused. Listen. Yes. Sophia, which means wisdom of Jesus. And that's what his job was to come here and do. Whole nother story. We'll talk about that later. So what I'm trying to say is, so he told me about the meditation and I had to get that full understanding. Yes. 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 Sophia means wisdom. Yes. Okay. Big Stepper. What's up? Wait a minute. I'm taking a pause. I got to acknowledge folks. You know, I don't like, I like when y'all come up in here. Let's have a conversation. You know. All right, Big Stepper. Rock with me. Rock with me. So listen. Yes, Sophia Kenny Ray. Yes, the supreme God. No, so listen. I'm going to give you a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Just a little bit. Y'all do your own research on Sophia of Jesus, okay? This is just a researcher thing, but this is just what y'all got to do. So let's talk about it. So she's just, yes. So she was considered the woman. But she had her own. She kind of had like the same powers with as God. But some books, some researchers, some of those, like I said, we'll talk more about it on YouTube, but I'm going to just touch a little bit here. Some researchers said that she created her own universe. She was, some feel like she was amazed at how God did it. And she created it. But hers was flawed. It wasn't that she did it on purpose. She didn't do it on purpose. It was just that she was enamored that she could do it, and she created her own universe, and it was flawed. And some say that she sent it away and it, hid it because she had her own God that was created out of that he was the God of the material world, right? And he didn't know that there was a supreme God. He didn't know that there was a supreme God. He thought he was the only God. And then, so he got two names. I don't want to say his name. I do. So you have, is it Demarge? Because it sounds like Demir, and that's why I keep saying that. I don't want you guys, you got to watch what words you're saying. So, yeah, okay. So the Holy Spirit is supposed to be a female. Listen, you jumping ahead now. Yes, but with her, she what was her son name? The one that she created, Yabadoth. So anyway, that's who he thought he was the God. No, it's cool. It's cool. I like this conversation. So Yabadoth was what she created. He thought he was the God. So he's the God of the material world. And some scholars believe that he is also the God, the creator, meaning the creator of this world, the material world. And then he thought that, but he couldn't be our supreme God, which is overall God, right? Hey, boo. No, he's not. However, that's what it is. But you got two different scholars. So then you have one scholar that teaches that she created out of envy because, power. So it kind of like lewds it up from Hebrew to the English version of she was Satan. So it all depends on what part of the Gnostics that you're going to read from, right? But this is you to do your research. Okay? Do your own research. But she was the feminine side of God. So, but with that, God got angry with her and sent her off. Now, when he sent her off, that was the whole purpose of Jesus coming down to redeem her. That's some scholars now. That's some scholars. However, yeah, that's some scholars. Now, you gotta decide which one you want to go with. So it's so much to unpack. I'm trying to unpack it during a timeline and just leave it as there until we get over to YouTube. But yes, that was her son. So some scholars feel like she did it on purpose. God was angry because she created life and she created universe without him, without the male figure, because she has the powers as well. And even if you read up in Proverbs, it talk, I'm jumping ahead, but it'll I don't want to jump ahead because I got some writing that I want to talk about. But it talks about when you say virtuous woman, virtuous and different things of how they describe a woman, that means of power, right? So with that meaning of power, it breaks down to a Greek word. It starts with a C. Listen, I be having to break it down and put how the way it's spelled, and then I have to put how it's pronounced, because boy, I tell you what. So that's supposed to identify us. And the Holy Spirit in Hebrew was considered to be female, right? But when it got over to Greek, definitely need to be tapping the screen. So when it got over to Greek, they looked at it as feminine as well. Latin looked at it as neutral. No, when it got to Greek, it was neutral. When it got to Latin, it transferred to, it didn't have a figure. And you know what I mean? And then once it got over to us in the English form, it became male. So of course it would. Of course it would. Because just like in the Bible, they talk about in the beginning of the Old Testament, it talks about like women can't do this, women can't do that. They made it seem like we were so bad. Well, why would they crucify women so bad? Because they're a special being. I'm just saying. That's just something that you have to do your research on. You have to. Even some scholars feel like the Old Testament was written by the Creator God that we just talked about. So anyway, that's your own research. So I'm going to get back on topic. So the meditation, that was the thing of Jesus coming down here to redemption for her. That's some scholars. And then the other scholars is redemption for us to teach us how to go within. Now, listen, I want to introduce y'all to somebody. Where's she at? The Sacred Disruptor. Are you still there? Follow her. She's giving a teaching on it as well. My thing that I'm going to be teaching you is not just so much of, hey, y'all go ahead and follow her because she's going to give an in-depth teaching. My teaching is more teaching you how to go within to tap into your divine self to be connected. Okay? We'll talk more about her, but that's just the thing. Thank you, Nye. Yeah. So learn more about that. She's teaching that now. She's breaking it down now. I just found her. She's my friend. So with the meditation, of course, that's why they make it seem that way. Now, like I said, all of this is just, you have to do your research. I just wanted to show you that that's how deep I go into my research. I don't listen to what everybody tell me anymore. I don't listen to what this person is saying. I don't listen to, the pastor said we're going to do it this way. We've been doing it this way for years. I have broke away from that. I am no longer attached to what is called the material world because of the fact the material world sent me on a wild goose chase down a rabbit hole and then had me confused all these years trying to figure out who is what is what, this, that, and the third. And then got me calling God all these different names. But when I do my research on it and they talk about Jehovah, then you'll find out that some scholars feel like Jehovah is Yabbathah. I keep messing up his name. I make sure I get it right. Yabbathah. But some scholars feel like it wasn't. So it all depends on where are you at and how tapped in are you. So if you go down the rabbit hole and you have not been awakened, you'll believe anything. You'll put anything to the test. You'll say whatever. You'll agree with anything. Because you don't know. But once you awaken and you're tapped in, when you go down, it's not a rabbit hole. It just comes to you. See, I didn't go searching for any of it. It just came to me. I just get the downloads. And this is what God told me to do. So every person and everything. And I'm like, well, God, is this what I'm supposed to be saying? And he go ahead and smack me with something else. Like, yep, here it is. I could be listening to the radio. And then boom, what I need to hear comes to me because I don't speak out loud anymore. I'm not talking to him. And some people will look at you and say, what would they say? Well, that's crazy. But yet, if I'm talking about whatever's happening at the church and I tell you I got a download, then it's like, oh, that's how God talked to you. See, that's what it want to get away from. God didn't create no religion. Jesus didn't create a religion. This is something that was created to keep control mentally. So it's on you to do your own research. I'm not here to preach against anybody and their beliefs or how they believe. What you believe is what you believe. My job is just to teach. And it's not for you to believe in what I believe in. And another thing, I don't come on here just to come on here. You will never see me on here just on here. You will never see me on here to just be on here. Ever. I haven't been on the whole week because I have nothing to talk about. Not that I don't like y'all. I just have nothing to talk about. I didn't get a download to talk. What I was told is that I needed to study. And in the book that I'm in, I'm about done with it. But I'm into the divine feminine era of it because I need to understand why you think divine feminine is so important. But people that have not been awakened, what they do when they hear divine feminine, they say, I'm divine. I'm a divine feminine. No, you're not. Your name Keisha. Go on over there in the corner and sit down. And the reason being is you have not went through the process. You have to go through a process to even identify who you are. But just because you heard somebody talking, you heard them talking and you said, oh, that's me. I'm chosen. Everybody's not chosen. Sorry. Everybody's not chosen. Everybody's not going to awaken. Everybody's going to go down the rabbit hole. Like you have some people thinking that the end of the world is going to be one way. The other people just like, hey, ain't no such thing. And you got one people that understand the truth behind the end of the world. It's just that we in it right now. We are in the new earth. If you are awakened. It already happened. The timeline already shifted. It has happened. The barrier has broken. While everybody worrying about what the Pope doing, y'all worried about the wrong thing. Can you navigate this new timeline? See, it's easy for me. And just like I was telling Sacred Disruptor, like I was telling her, I was more lonely before I awakened than the fact that I'm operating in my purpose. Before I started operating in my purpose, I was lonely. Now I'm not lonely. Because the spirit lies within me. I have awakened. Yeah, I have awakened. I know who I am. I don't care about what people think. Everybody's still running to the churches doing this, that, and the third. In these ending times, you are the church. You are the storehouse. God is about to, all these people that were last, about to be first, and you guys are about to have all this money. And see, this is why everybody can't get it. We're about to get our inheritance. See, the inheritance is not what everybody think. Everybody like, oh, I want my money. Parents pass away, they get this money. That money does not last. That's why it says the root of all evil. It does not last. It's done for a purpose. It lasts in the material world, but outside the material world is where your inheritance, your generational wealth grows. You can't get your generational wealth attached to the material world. Yes, you can't get it. If you was to get your generational wealth attached to the material world, guess what you about to do? You about to do it big. Yep. You think you did it big with the job you got. But what's going to happen when you get your generational wealth? See, it's not all about cash. It's about knowledge. It's about wisdom. Let's look at it like this. You decide to awaken and you decide to spark the things that's in you. What's up, Chapo? Love it. You decide that you sparked what's in you, right? And you become the person that you're supposed to be, right? Because you connected directly to the source. Like this new generation came out connected directly to the source. They ain't think about nothing we talking about. They came straight out like, hey, this is what I want. This is what I envision. This is what it is. The law of assumption. I already got it. Because that's what you're supposed to be doing. See, this is how it works. You want something, right? You say, I want to go to Hawaii. You come to me, oh, Coach, now I'm going to Hawaii. What up, baby? I'm going to Hawaii. Okay, you're already in Hawaii. You're going to look at me like I'm crazy. You're going to look at me like I'm crazy because you don't understand what I'm doing for you. And I need you to understand so you can get that and get out my face of telling me that's where you want to be all day. You're already there. It's not one of those things how they tell you manifest it and just fake it till you make it. See, it's a difference. When you in the material world, you fake it till you make it. You pretend. You write it down 1,000,000 times. You keep looking at it. You go burn it. You go blow on it. You go do all these things when all you have to do is sit within. Right? I want to go to Hawaii. I go into meditation. I'm in Hawaii. When I get out of meditation, it may even take 2-3 days. But somehow you're going to get the money to go to Hawaii, right? You're just like, somebody just showed up. No, it's because you're already there. You control your timeline. So big stepper, go ahead because it's time for you to step out real big. Because listen, that's all it is. People look at me. I had people tell me that you're more blessed than I. But see, I was operating off the law of assumption, but didn't know it. I wasn't awakened, but I understood. I understood it was something about me. I just couldn't put it together because I knew it was more. Listen, in 2017, I said, I'm going on a quest to find out who Jesus is for myself. Never thought I'll be here. You see how I spoke that into existence? You see how I said it? Because even though I didn't have the funds, I was kind of like, like how I'm going to get there. I didn't have much leave on work. How I'm going to do this. I got kids. How I'm going to do. But I said, I'm going to go find Jesus for myself. I'm going to figure it out. See, in my mind, I thought I had to go to another country, another continent. I had to go. No. I said, I want to get to know him for myself. And from that point on, I was getting little gems here and there. Little nuggets here and there. Breaking it down to now, I got enough nuggets that he was able to say, all right, boom, here it is. Everything you need to know. Ah, dang. Why did it take so long? Because I resisted. So everything that I wanted, just because I say I want $1 million, guess what? I said I wanted $1 million. I didn't dwell on it. I didn't do anything because you got to have that childlike faith, right? So they say faith like a mustard seed. And then you sitting around talking about I believed I was going to win that scratch off. Well, and you didn't win it. And it's not because you were gambling. People, because that's not the way God going to get to you. No. You asked your father for it. You don't tell him how to get it to you. And then here it is now. Within that first 2-3 years, you done bought a new house, you done bought a new car, you done bought this, and all that adds up to $1 million. But because you're so attached to the material world, what you want? You want it. That's it. Yes. This you got to understand that everything, you control it all. You control your destiny. Listen, it's no way that I would have been able to come up here, sit on this platform 2 years ago, even a year ago, and say what I'm saying right now. Because I'd be worried about what they're going to say, how they going to say this about me. I got to get it prepared. I got to do this. No. I don't prepare. I'm telling you, I used to prepare some stuff. I used to be ready to give you a class. I don't. Because of the fact I put my total trust in him. I pray before I come on and he just go. It's a lot of people that looking at me sideways that used to know me, that look at me sideways and all these things. See, it's not my worry. And you know why? Because they don't understand it now. But when they do understand it, because he's going to make sure that they do understand it, they'll be back talking about some, girl, teach me. Girl, I thought you was crazy. Girl, I thought, well, I see you doing your thing. Girl, you know what? Well, I was thinking, I had a dream. Yeah, I bet you did have a dream. But guess what? You're not getting on the stage with me. Go have your dream over there. There's a podium for you over there. Start there. You have to start. You have to get on your own path and start. But I'll tell you what, I'm always going to be here to teach and show. That is it. That is all. I'm not here to be friendly. I'm not here to be besties. I'm not here to do anything. I am here to do my job. When it's time, when you start operating your purpose, you have to do your father's business. That everybody's father's business is totally different, because you have Christians that's just like, hey, the father's business is to go out there and tell everybody they wrong and tell them God don't like it, and they going to hell. Right. But you're going to bust it wide open before I do. You're going to be bust wide open before I am. Do you understand? So stop worrying about what everybody got to say. So I'm going to get back to, that's why I had to learn to meditate. So now I can teach you how to meditate. We got all off topic, but those were the steps that God had to get me to that point for me to understand what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be doing in this season and in this time? And so I had to go through the different processes of learning. I was deaf tone, I would speak really, really loud and didn't realize that I needed to calm down. Then I seemed hyped up, and then it was like, okay, but I'm coming off as I'm angry. You know what I mean? And when I talk passionate about something, my facial expression, I look like I want to fight. So it was those things that he needed to process, that, hey, you don't have to be so passionate about what you say. I just need you sometimes in this moment, I need you to just sit back and calmly speak, because the person that I need you to talk to today can't comprehend it from another type of tone. Do you understand? So it's things that I'm learning, and I'm confident in it. I'm not worrying about what people say or how they think about it. So I even gave a breakdown of, anyway, just the way I study. We'll save that for YouTube, because it's just something about this platform that I think that this was my stepping stone. I believe, and I understand that this was my stepping stone. This was to get me out there, to get me comfortable, to get me to a place, because I don't have to be liked by people or followed by people. The following will come. Remember with Jesus? Remember, he was just, who was it? A carpenter, they said. But everybody followed him because it was something about his words. It wasn't about the glow. It was something about his words. It was the speaking of the tongues that he did, that a lot of people feel like the speaking of the tongues is when you speak in a different language that can only be interpreted by God and this, that, and the third. But what if I told you speaking of the tongues was being able to speak what God told you to speak? It's up to you. Do your own research. Do your own research. So the ones that's sitting around, they trying to talk about some, well, I ain't saved because I ain't speaking of tongues. Oh, okay. Or, I can't be if I'm not speaking of tongues. No, you're supposed to be speaking. Speak it. Now, speaking of tongues could be for that as well. But when it takes away from Hebrew and brings down to English, that's where you have to follow the message from there. Don't follow the message from where your pastor told you to start. Don't follow, you go follow the message back to the Hebrew. And when you take that term of what that means, don't go interpret it into English right away of trying to see, because what English is going to interpret it to what makes sense to them. See, in Hebrew, it don't make sense. It kind of speaks like God speaks. When you ask God a question, it's like it's never a complete sentence. He just say, go there. Okay. Go where? And then you try to figure out where else do I go? It speaks that way. You have to have the knowledge to understand it. So that's what I'm talking about. So go back there and really get a full understanding of what that is. What does that mean? What does that mean? Speak. God gave you a voice. When you awaken, it's something about you. You're his vessel now. It's not that you got the best conversation. Me, I could talk about a lot of things that I have learned so far. A lot of things I've learned so far. And I can come on here and teach everything that I learned. But that's not my job. My purpose is to teach you to go within, to love yourself. In order to love yourself, in order to love God, you have to know how to love yourself, because the kingdom is within you. He's within you. He'll give you everything you need. That's where you find him. You find him in your belly. That's what. You find him there. So listen. I don't know when I'm coming back on live. You know, my schedule has changed. It's been up and it's been down. And I'm working now back to business, right? Back to business. And I'm still running my business, my actual non-fitness business. So I tell you what. I do my life coaching, and I want y'all to understand this right now. I'm not big on, I had someone tell me, and these were church folk, you don't work for free. Everything you do, you better make it make money for you. And I thought to myself, and that's why you don't have what you're supposed to have. You may be rich because you're operating from here and you're comfortable with it. But you're supposed to have that much more. So with me, what I do is life coach sessions. You can do your 30-minute consultation when I try and figure out what it is that you need, whether it's personal training, whatever kind of, even if you need therapy, I can refer you to someone because I'm not a therapist, or, spiritual guidance, whatever it may be, help you figure that out, because my job is not to take your money. My job is to really get you the help that you need, because I have to guide you to where you need to go. Now, my life coaching, the first session with me is free, period. If you get everything that you need done in that first day, fine. If you need another session, then okay, that's when you run into the business. That is the business, right? So if y'all need me, go to my website. If you can't find an open date there, DM me. If y'all have not got y'all book, Trinity Walk to Self-Love, get it. It's on Amazon, Walmart, and Barnes & Noble. Get your book. We supposed to have been doing a book club, but my schedule has changed. I don't think anybody signed up for the one that's online. But if you guys go ahead and sign up for the one online, we'll go ahead and pull it together and get a book club doing. But you have to get your book first, okay? And I'm working on the workbook now too, which is going to help you self-discover you in the spirit that's within you. I want to make sure I cover everything. Okay. And we're still going to discuss the Delilah, Jezebel, and Lilith. We're still going to discuss them. It's just that I have to figure out what day. I got to work a whole new day now because it cuts into my study. So if I come on here at 8 o'clock, then I have to be off by 9 because I have to study. I got to get my study on because I got to keep my knowledge, right? So I want to tell you guys, if no one told you today, I love you and I'm so proud of you. I am super proud of you for, wanting to know more, wanting to awaken to you, to who you are. Okay. So, because everybody, they haven't awakened yet because they don't understand it. And it's okay. But it's not for you to judge anybody. It's not for you to knock anybody's job. Yeah, it is a whole book itself. It sure is. But it's not your job. In your awakening, I don't have to tell you that. Once you awaken, you don't do certain things anymore. You'll never knock anybody for believing in a God that you don't believe. You'll never go against him. You'll never say anything. See, this is just an automatic thing. You'll never be that way. And I know a lot of Christians, once don't let them get a title. Don't let them be the pastor. All of a sudden now, you constantly going to hell. And that's one thing that I really distasteful to me was to see how people run up behind the pastor so much. Not the fact that, okay, he's leading his sheep. Not that fact. It's the fact of they want validation from this person. And then them being a leader, they feeling high and mighty like, yes, I've made it. You have not made it. because titles don't matter. When you awaken, you don't care nothing about no title. You are about your Father's business. It's all about doing his job. You're not worrying about where you go get the money from. You're not passing the basket around 20, 50 different times. You're not doing any of those things. What you're doing is doing your Father's business, because you know that the abundance is chasing you down. The bag is chasing you down. You don't worry about a bag. I don't worry about a bag. I don't worry about anything, because it's going to find me. Everything is going to find me because I am here. I am here. I am doing my job. So let me go, because I always close like 50, 60 different times. So I'm going to close right now. I just want you guys to know I love you and I'm super proud of you. And I want you to continue to do what you need to do. Continue to research. I'm going to always stress that research, research, research. Everything that I talked about today, go research it on your own. Reach out to me. Inbox me. Let's set up a Zoom call. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm just here to help, right? So, and guide you gently. So when you find out knowledge, that does not mean run and tell everybody the knowledge that you found out. That is just for you to have in your back pocket, because trust me, you're going to be put on the spot. Just like today, everybody was asking about who is Sophia. I was able to explain to them, but I had to calm down because I didn't want to jump the gun. And I got too excited because I'm ready to talk about it, but that is not, it's not for tonight, but I can address it. You know what I mean? Because I got excited. But I want you guys to know that everything is not for everybody. Your testimony is not for everybody. God will tell you who your testimony is from. He'll send you the right people that you need. So just continue to operate in your purpose. Remember to pour into yourself before you pour into others. And if you do decide to pour into someone else, use your discernment. Now, with your cup, it will overflow because you're operating in your purpose. God is going to bless you until your cup overfloweth. And that's what they get, the overflow. They get the overflow. But everybody don't get the overflow. Just because you got extra don't mean you can give it to somebody. All right, Big Stepper. Doesn't mean that you can give it to everybody. You don't give it to everybody. God will tell you who to give it to. You use your discernment. Your cup, you never pour out your cup at all because it's for you. That is for you. That is for you doing your job. That is him paying you. Now, the overflow is for because now you're going to be the storehouse. These churches, you'll see, they're about to be gone. They're about to be done away, put on blast. You're about to really see churches and people for who they are. But God is trusting you to be that storehouse. They were supposed to be the storehouse. They were supposed to be the storehouse for years. For years. I don't know what happened. It's not my job to find out what happened. Not my job to bash them. But you're about to be the storehouse. And what are you going to do with that? So, just know, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank y'all for following. Make sure y'all get y'all book, Trinity Walk to Self-Love. It is Amazon, Walmart, and Barnes & Noble. I love y'all so much. And go subscribe to my YouTube so you guys can catch the latest episodes when I start posting. Coach Nye out. Bye.